I had to get on here and share with you guys a profound insight that came through from the Lyrans, a separate group of Lyrans, not the ones that I typically communicate with, but it's a separate group of Lyrans who wanted to answer the question about Lucy Letby. So I don't know if you guys have watched the documentary on Netflix, but there's a trending documentary about Lucy Letby, who was accused and then put in jail, convicted of, sorry, I'm out of breath. Okay, she was she was convicted of murdering babies. I forgot the total number. I was very interested as to why this documentary was being shown, and then I was interested also in finding out like what actually happened in the case. Spoiler alert, if you guys want to watch the documentary, then do that and then come back to this channeling. But what I had channeled was that yes, indeed, Lucy Letby actually did the physical act of harming those babies. And the documentary talks about the different ways in which she did this. But at first, the Lyrans were talking, they were bringing up multidimensionality. They were bringing up this idea of multiple dimensions and how this was happening in a multidimensional kind of state as well. There were different dimensions at play here, and how and I'm getting the chills as I say this, so it's always confirmation chills for me that this is accurate. There was another attachment, another different dimensional being that was attached to her that was negative. What I was seeing when they were presenting this message to me is that she wasn't even aware of this attachment. Most people are not aware when they have attachments. This attachment was actually feeding telling her to do these things, feeding through this information to physically harm these babies so that it could harvest the energy of that baby passing, because that's what negative entities are able to do. I mean, a lot of different entities can harvest energy, but essentially they were harvesting the energy of the baby passing. I don't know how else to say that. Maybe I'll bring on the Lyrans again to better explain how that process works. But anyway, the Lyrans were very adamant that Lucy, they didn't say that she was guilty. They just said that she was not innocent, is the way that they put it. And they were also acknowledging that the reason for this documentary was it was for the collective. It was a collective reflection of how now we should start questioning how something so innocent can actually be very evil. So I'll say that again. We are now being called to question our reality, shocker, about how something so innocent can end up being something so evil. There's the duality involved in that. Like there's a lot of different concepts that are coming to mind as they say that. But I was just thinking, like they gave me the example of the hospital system, how something is as innocent, as clean, as pure as a hospital, we're helping people, how that can be so evil. Because to be honest, in my opinion, I don't always think that hospitals have our best interests. I think that there's certain practices involved that are meant to harm us, without saying too much about my own personal beliefs. But I do think that there's dark forces infiltrating in the hospital. Another example that they were giving me was like the sky, right? And all the airplanes that we see in the sky, when many of us know that, like, okay, there's chemtrails that come from airplanes in the sky. And so seemingly we look at it and we view it and it's something so innocent, and yet it has the intention of something so evil. So looking at the Lucy Letby case, I thought that was so fascinating. Just everything that the Lyrans had said. I'm trying to see if there was more. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing with Lucy Letby here. Yes, these are the Lyrans. We are coming back here to further clarify a couple of the things that we said about the Lucy Letby case. It is true that we do believe that Lucy Letby is not innocent. We do not want to use the word guilty intentionally, because there are other players here at play that would have some of that guilt that would be culpable here. And so we just simply want to say not innocent for your human language. Other things that we might say here, let me, 1 second, we are connecting to the channel. Christine did a good job of describing this reflection at this time for the collective consciousness in looking at something and how it can be perceived as something so innocent, and yet there's something so sinister behind it. And this is just in light of the chaos of all of the darkness that is being brought to light here on Earth right now. And so Netflix has purposely put out this documentary. This is more something that has been meant for benevolence, for us to reflect the people behind publishing on Netflix. This is not something that they're doing intentionally for the benevolence. In other words, they're not thinking, oh, we're going to put this out here so it's a great collective consciousness mirror for people who are listening and tuning in. No, but it is something that was intentional for them to put there for us to start questioning, to be planting seeds in our minds of what if? What if there is more malice behind our structures, behind our hospitals, behind the intention of people? And so, yes, this is something that has been intentionally put into your conscious collective mind. But at the same time, it is something that you all have attracted anyway, because many people are starting to reflect on the atrocities that could be behind such innocence. And so that is it. We thought that this might be an interesting reflection, interesting insight for you guys. We really enjoy these different types of questions that we are receiving from Christine as it pertains to documentaries, as it pertains to different things in the mainstream. And so we would encourage you to ask Christine if you would like to channel different information that you find interesting as it pertains to mainstream, because it must be so interesting right now. It must be so fun. It must be so joyful to be a human and to not know the answers to these things and then have this information be channeled to you by ETs. We are just in awe with every single human that is listening to this right now, because we love providing you this information. Of course, take it as it resonates. It is fun for us. Everything should always just be fun. And we just hope to plant different seeds in your mind so that you can think about the what ifs and you can expand your consciousness. And with that, we will leave here and bring back the channel. I don't know, that always surprises me, that it just like kind of comes through. Okay, so yeah, that's what they had to say about Lucy Letby. Let me know if you guys had any other questions about that. I see you guys. Bye.